buonasera. Welcome to New York University, Casa Italiana Zerilli Marimo, with this evening of music, as we called it very simply, but apparently the title had his effect, and we have a full house on a Friday evening that is not exactly our typical time for events, and probably it's due to the fact of the prestige and the renown of the Accademia Musicale Chigiana. It's one of the glories of Italy, and of course the glory of the city of Siena. I'm not going to say anything more because we have somebody here who is much more qualified than I am. Just want to express my most heartfelt thanks to the Accademia for having decided to offer this concert here at the Casa. Just a footnote, the Accademia is here to gain a recognition and more supporters in New York. So, Julian, if we can put back the credentials for the Wi-Fi, I have a little homework for you. Normally people tell you, turn off your cell phones, and no, for now, for 2 minutes, I'm asking you to turn them on. And these are the credentials with which you can connect to the NYU Guest Network. Let people know where you are and what you're doing. I'm at Casa Italiana, and we are listening to the great artists of Accademia Musicale Chigiana. That's their mission, to let Americans know that they exist and they're doing great work to cultivate the great talents of music for the future. And as I told you, there is somebody here within this building that is much more qualified than I am to present the Accademia Musicale Chigiana, and it's my colleague and friend, Eugenio Refini. He's the chair of the Department of Italian Studies, he's a scholar of Italian literature, and he's also a trained musicologist. So we have the fortune of having, with one professor, two actually. And Eugenio also happens to be from Siena, so he's a first-hand witness of the great things that the Accademia does every year, and with great constance and with great dedication. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Eugenio to come and greet you and to tell you about the rest of the evening. Enjoy, it's going to be a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Stefano. I would like to thank Stefano Albertini, the director of Casa Italiana, for having us tonight. When I came up with the idea of, trying to do something with the Accademia Chigiana and the Friends of Chigiana, I mentioned it to Stefano, and Stefano, is always very gracious. He said right away, yes, let's do it. And I'm really delighted to be doing this, not only because we're going to have a fantastic evening of music, so I'm adding fantastic to evening of music, but also for a very personal kind of relationship. As Stefano said, I'm originally from Siena, and I think that, I'm, of course, a big music lover. And this is really, partly, I would say, for two main reasons. One reason is my family, because they're all music lovers. But also the other reason is that, I grew up in a city where the Accademia Chigiana was there to sort of allow me to get to see beautiful concerts as a very young age. I was thinking earlier, when was the first time I went to the Chigiana? And I think I was 6 or 7, and my mom brought me to see a beautiful concert with Sviatoslav Richter, and I still have memories of that concert. I mean, kind of blurred memories, but they are there very strong. And I got a little emotional when I saw those images on the screen, because that place really is very meaningful to me and to many people, not only in Siena but around the world. And I will be, very short here, because I want to leave the floor to Maestro Antonio Artese, who will be telling us more about what's happening tonight. I would like to thank Antonio very much for, coordinating this event. We are really, really happy to have it as an occasion for getting together, but also for appreciating beautiful music here at Casa Italiana. Most of the repertoire tonight will be Italian, but we will also have non-Italian music, which is totally fine. I think it will be fantastic music as well. So I would like to welcome Maestro Antonio Artese to the podium, and I would like you all to sort of welcome him with a nice round of applause, please.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, and it's an honor to be here and to see also to have some friends, many friends in New York. Accademia Chigiana, for me was a kind of a late acquisition. Was in 2017, even though I played there and I was one of the students in the past. But my adventure with Accademia Chigiana starts in 2017, when we wanted to start a program which was a little bit global over the season of the International and Summer Academy. Tonight, I just want to show you a few things. Our motto, which is where young talents meet the masters, which has been always true. And not giving a presentation like a PowerPoint, academic stuff. No, I'll not do that. I will just show a book of photos with you and memories. So we can go ahead. This is Siena, Piazza del Campo. And I'm not Senese, but I belong there now. And this is a Conte Chigi Saracini, who was a kind of a visionary composer, music lover, kind of, a man of other times. And in 1924, so 100 years ago, in 1923 actually, with the season 23-24, 100 years ago started a season of concerts. And he realized that he could be traveling abroad to see the major composers and performers and artists, but also he could invite them to Tuscany in his 100 rooms palazzo and twist my arm. And everyone, thanks also to the connections that Conte Chigi had in the foreign affairs and the people that he knew. He had also a Pope in his family, by the way. So he happened to be, kindly enough to invite a few people. Now, let's see which one was those people. Okay, here we go. Do you know them? Do you recognize any of them? Okay, next slide. Alfred Cortot and Pablo Casals. There was a young friends, okay, I don't know about that, but, and they were, at the house. Cortot stayed there for weeks, apparently, enjoying wine, and so did Pablo Casals, actually. And next, who are these people? The Count is the young fellow, very dandy. In this picture, which is 1924. Okay, let's see who these are. Ottorino Respighi, Elsa Respighi, Wanda Landowska. Okay, let's go to the next picture. Oh, this is a young fellow. Now is 84, actually, and is in Maestro Salvatore Accardo. And another one, this is a politically incorrect picture because the Count is actually lighting a cigarette for Maurizio Pollini. I don't think he was 18 at the time, but he was invited and actually became also a faculty member at the Accademia in the summer. Let's go on. Oh, Maria Callas. Oh, my goodness. And someone else, everyone was smoking at the time. But Quartetto Italiano, Maria Callas, Daniel Barenboim. Look how old was Daniel Barenboim. And Joaquina Cucciaro was also a professor of Dallas at the Southern Methodist University. And let's see the other guys. You recognize those? Zubi Mehta and Claudia Bado. Look at those fellows. Claudia Bado, very sad man. But fantastic musician. All right. So, and this is the Academy. You saw some. It's just surrounded by beauty, so where people actually do not have cubicle practice rooms, but they actually enjoy, some of the Vecchietta, some of the 17th and 15th century paintings and the collections of the Count, by the way. He was a true patron for the arts. Okay, let's go next. And this is one of the rooms. It's called and the Segovia used to teach here, and he loved this room, and actually one day fought with someone else to keep it. And this is the Salone with the 2 floors. It was the ballroom. They removed, in 1921, they removed the ceiling, as you can see, and they substituted with this balcony, so that at the end you could have also view, next slide, of the people there. And where the piano is in the small room over there on the left? This is actually an interesting concert of Middle Eastern music, which is one of the concert season called the Tradire, so to translate, to portray people, to carry on the traditions. And this is the theater, Teatro di Rozzi, where we actually have concerts during the year. There are more than 200 concerts a year that the Chigiana puts together in the season, both in summer and during the concert season in the year. And the next one is the cathedral, where there is a choir, Chigi Saracini, and in collaboration with the cathedral. So the magnitude of the impact can be seen also in the concert for Italy that followed the pandemic in 2021, 2022, as you can see, 23, this one photo, where a concert is offered to the people, 2,500 people. And here are some of the students that they come from all over the world. And the next, so they, and people playing chamber music, quartets, rehearsing, creating. Here we go. And then they stand there where the Count and Respighi stood together. It is also a symbol, not a religious one, but just art at the pinnacle of music. And this is one of the young artists quartet of the University of Colorado, who's a partner also of our programs. So, you know, to come to the end, what is the meaning of this picture here is to pass on the knowledge, the artistry, the creativity. And, you know, this is a professor, a cellist, and a student. And this is what, you know, it's all is about. Now, what are we doing here? I mean, you know, I'm the president of Friends of Chigiana. We want to establish, you know, what? You know, scholarship money for attention, you know, create this, this awareness about the Chigiana programs and allow young musicians, young artists to succeed, to have the opportunity to go abroad and to study at the Chigiana. So that's what we do. And thank you. I would like now to pass the microphone to my friend, professor and esteemed musicologist, Professor Michael Beckerman.
Thank you. My name is Michael Beckerman. I'm in one of the, well, depending on how you count, 4, 5, or 6 music departments at NYU. I can explain afterwards, but and I'm delighted to say that there is in effect a music department here at Casa Italiana. There's so much interest in music here. It's really quite wonderful. Well, long ago when dinosaurs roamed the streets, volcanoes were everywhere, that is to say the 1990s, I was teaching at UC Santa Barbara. And even though it's not always listed as one of the top 5 music departments in the country, there were some amazingly talented students there, among them Antonio Artese, who was wildly talented. He could play anything, was a gifted improviser, jazz musician, but that alone wouldn't have gotten me out on a Friday night. It is because of almost all the students I've taught in, almost 50 years, he is one of the most generous of spirit and good-hearted people. And that's why, even though musicologists obviously will use any pretext to ply their wares in front of people, it's because of his good-heartedness and generosity, really, that I said yes to coming out tonight to speak very briefly about the program. It's a wonderful program. It's the kind of program I like. Again, as we were saying, one of my favorite Italian composers, Prokofiev. We see that the title is Vision Fugitive, right? So we have a French title, Russian composer, in the United States, in the Casa Italiana. It's perfect. The piece is extraordinary. It's 20 short pieces ranging from some, well, not even 20 seconds, to maybe 2 minutes on the outside. And as you can tell from the titles, there are all kinds of different worlds, kind of mini character pieces, ferociously, unquietly, poetically, ridiculously. Even though they're completely original, you'll hear echoes of some of the contemporary composers you know, some Stravinsky. I think there's a lot of Debussy and Ravel. It was written around the time of Ravel's Tombeau de Couperin. Some of the pieces sound like that, but others sound like Prokofiev and only Prokofiev, particularly what I call Prokofiev's wrong note music, you know, when you get like Peter and the Wolf or Romeo and Juliet, you're using an expected melody type, only the notes are different and you go in different directions. So this is, again, an extraordinary set of pieces. I'll tell you that in sort of preparing to talk about them, I listened to Maestro Berman's recording, and you're really in for a treat. He plays these pieces gorgeously. Then we have a wonderful set of pieces by Puccini. Some will be very familiar to you. Some will be familiar to you even though you've never heard them before. Because, well, the first piece, the vocal piece, is the Sole Amore, Son and Love, which was written in 1888, and it wasn't until 8 years later that it became part of the third act quartet in La Bohème. It's the same kind of material. As you know, well, maybe you don't, well, composers have their secret world where they take bits of earlier things they've written and put them into later pieces. And this is a wonderful case of this. It's got a charming ending. The publisher of the piece apparently studied with Paganini, or at least Puccini thought he did. So there's a little sign-off at the end of the piece, and you'll hear Paganini and Puccini at the very last notes of this piece. This is followed by Donde, lieta, the extraordinarily gorgeous and tragic Act 4 aria from La Bohème, where Mimi and Rudolfo agree to part. And then we have Musetta's theme before it became Musetta's theme. Supposedly, and again, I haven't been able to track down, the world's filled with anecdotes, but one of them is that Puccini was in a boat, and he experienced the rocking of the boat and came up with the theme, which he calls, well, this little waltz, which later on becomes the magnificent theme that Musetta sings in La Bohème. We have a song, Sogno, by Tosti. Tosti, as some of you may know, was one of the most popular song composers of the 19th and early 20th century. Yes, in Italy, but mostly really in England. He moved to England. He became knighted by the English. He wrote absolutely exquisite Italian songs, and as this one is, but he also wrote English songs for music halls and all kinds of things. So this is, again, a marvelous piece. One of the things about the first set, the Fugitive Visions, raises the question of sincerity. Not necessarily sincerity as a value judgment, but one of the things that Prokofiev deals in is sort of undercutting himself. Just the moment you think it might be getting serious, something's undercutting it. It's ironic, it's sarcastic. Well, some things are not. And O mio babbino caro is an absolutely beautifully sincere piece of a young woman begging her father, well, this is, sorry, I don't mean to make light of it, sort of to take me to the mall, as it were, begging her father to take her to get a ring so that she can marry her lover. And if Prokofiev continually sort of undercuts the sincerity, in this world, it's nothing but sincerity. This small set ends with a piece that I'd never heard before, and I don't know if any of you have, this little album blot, this Foglio d'album, a piano piece that Puccini wrote. And I found it filled with unexpected things, little contrapuntal ideas, things that I don't always associate with Puccini. So I think it will be a delight for you to hear this piece. And of course, it ends with the magnificent and powerful and passionate Pace, pace, mio Dio, from Forza del Destino, this sort of frightening and heartbreaking aria where Leonora, outside her cave, laments what has happened to her and confesses that she still carries all the weight of her love. Again, it's a marvelous program with so much variety. I'm delighted to be here. Enjoy the program.
to say that part of my education is also improvisation. So I would like to take this opportunity, very narcissistic indeed, to improvise on the fragment first of the Musetta waltz and then proceed with the original. Thank you. sing the piece, so we have the encore. There's all, some kind of formal thing that I need to take care of. So we'd like to thank, first of all, Casa Italiana Zerilli Marimont for hosting us. It's the first contact with the New York community, so it's been fantastic. I want to thank the Direttore Stefano Albertini, my friend Eugenio. I don't have a singer voice, therefore I can project so as Maria Luigia does. But anyway, so Eugenio has been so kind to let us plug in and connect with this wonderful community at NYU. I would like to thank the staff, Julian and Chiara and Kostya, for helping us with organizing this event. It's not simple, as you know. And I would like also to thank Michael Beckerman and the board of Friends of Chigiana. We're here also to support the music. And so it would be nice to get back in touch with you. You have the programs, you have our addresses and stuff like that. So we definitely would like to continue this conversation and maybe make an appointment, which is a kind of recurrent here in New York City. So this is very important, sustain the arts, sustain the young talents. You ever seen Pollini? You ever seen Salvatore Accardi? You ever seen Daniel Barenboim? The young things, that's what we do. We support young artists to succeed. Thank you so much. And I forgot. I want to thank everyone here, all the artists has donated their time and their talent. So I would like to say thank you, heartfelt thank you to Boris Berman, who's also a teacher at the Chigiana for the Global Academy program. Boris, thank you so much. And Maria Luigia, who came from Pisa, from Tuscany, and for this event. And all the supporters, the board, Judith Glide, please stand. The treasurer of Friends of Chigiana, please. And Scotto, and the director of the stand. From Dallas, guys, so. If you think that it's difficult to get out, with 2 drops of water in New York City, think about Dallas, coming from Dallas with a typhoon. So that's, okay. So anyway, so we have a short, Jenny, I want to say something. I want to thank you for everything. So.
Well, actually, I just would like to sort of thank you again. I would like really to thank Antonio for, putting together this wonderful evening. And, I promised a fantastic evening of music, and indeed we have one. And I would like to, let's thank our artists, musicians tonight. Again, and I would like to thank Professor Beckerman, who gave us this beautiful introduction. And thank you all for joining us. I would like then now to enjoy our encore. And thanks to Friends of Chigiana. I also hope that this can be, possibly the beginning of a tradition where we get together on a regular basis to do beautiful music. Thank you.